Well, the joys of live broadcasting. Apologies for being late, but we're going to make it worth your while. And thank you so much for tuning into today's Room Junkie show, where we've got Janette and Deirdre from Kay's Flower School to entertain, educate, and inspire us this morning.
Well, hi, everyone.
Delighted to be here eventually.
That was a bit of fun, and we still don't know what the technical issue was. But anyway, no. I'm so delighted that you guys are here. Do you know it's 3 years since I've met you in person? 3 years.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, it was the WIN event. Joanne is one of your ladies, I think. Joanne Palfreman says, morning, everyone. I laud your patience, Joanne, but we're going to make it worth your while.
Yes, hi, Joanne. Yeah, Joanne is one of our students. And she's in the UK, she is.
Brilliant, because you've got a global audience. But listen, go back to the beginning. Tell us, where did it all start for Kay's Flower School and how it has evolved?
I'll let you.
For me? Okay. Yeah. Usually she does all the talking. So where did it start? Well, my mum, or our mum is Kay. Obviously, we're sisters, and our mum is Kay. So she would have started the school back in 1997, I think it is. I think it was 1997. That'd be, 35 years.
Whatever 35 years ago is, yeah.
We would have had a flower shop, Kay's Florist, I think what Kay's Florist it was. Back then she had a flower shop, and it was in a recession, and obviously the flower shop wasn't doing well and trying to bring up, income, and she decided to start running classes. So that's how the classes started, and they just started to grow quicker than the flower shop did. So Janette, obviously at the time, I was too young because I'm the younger sister. Janette was working in the flower shop. So she was running the flower shop and Mum was running the school. And then eventually they just decided, you know what, let's just do education. So while Janette was doing the training in the flower shop, she went off globally and got training all over the world. Just learning new skills, learning new techniques, stuff like that to bring to the school. So I suppose they let the shop go and the school started officially in 1997, but it probably had been going for a year or two before that on a sort of small basis. And then Mum and Janette, they ran the school up until, Joanna's saying rub it in, because you are older than me.
I am. I'm not older than you. Oh, I am older than her. Yeah, I am older than her. Yeah, I am.
The twins, girls.
Yeah.
I'm the baby.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the real baby is over in Lanzarote. Sinead is our virtual assistant. She's over there. But so the school continued on and just grew from strength to strength over the next 20 years or so. 10 years ago, Mum decided she wanted to retire. I was already in adult education. I never wanted to be a florist, even though we were born reared into it. We had to do it. It wasn't like our kids nowadays have a choice of coming to work with Mommy and Daddy. We had no choice. We were made to go to work. And we were made wire and take the flowers for weddings. Like that was just, we had to do it. So I was the rebellious one. I says, no, I want nice hands and I want to be a beauty therapist. So I particularly went on and I trained as a beauty therapist and I opened my own beauty salon. And I had that for 11 years or so before Mum decided then she wanted to retire. And so I went further into adult education then and came on board then with the school. And I sort of was the one to push it out of their comfort zone, where Janette is very much a creature of habit, and our students would know that. She's very much a creature of habit, and if it's not broken, don't fix it. That's Janette's motto. And I was like, let's get a new website.
The website, yeah.
The website.
I wouldn't agree to a new website. There was nothing wrong with the website we had. And Deirdre said one day, I will pay for the website. She said, I'm going to prove that this will work. She says, I will pay for it. And then when I prove that I'm right, you can give me the money back, that way.
That's what it took.
And we got a new website. Yeah. And she was right.
But listen, you're a very good, blending of skill sets, because you're obviously diametrically opposed in your skills department. But I mean, my God, how it works. Fast forward to our viewers to COVID. And
COVID, I suppose,
amazing.
Obviously, it was this time of the year, 2 years ago. It was around February, March, and our courses were running. And I remember in February, we had a bridal course on, and a girl came in and she was snotting and sneezing. We were like, imagine coming to the school and she's like that. This was before.
There was only rumors of COVID. You know
what
I mean? Like it didn't exist on this side of the world. You know what I mean? It was only over in China. And we were kind of conscious, that girl she's sniffy and snotty and all the rest, that way. But that course, I can actually still remember the people that was on that course. So that course finished, and I think the next one was to start on the 20th of March.
That's right.
That was the next course to start. And then obviously Friday the 13th, Leo went on the telly and said everything was going to go on hold for 2 weeks. So we contacted the students, postponed the course for about a month or so. We said, listen, sure, we'll take advantage of this.
Big banana bread.
Bake banana bread like everybody else, stay at home and watch Netflix. And we said we would take the 2 or 3 weeks off because I think it was running into Easter as well. Right. So then the 2 weeks got extended to 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and we were at home. Rialto, which is where we were based, was completely deserted. Nobody was leaving the 5 kilometre zone. And at this stage, we then had postponed the course till June or July, like later on. And we were doing a small amount of online courses, but like say here at the school, we have the professional programs, which are the 4 modules, module 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we had these little standalone courses. So if people wanted to just learn how to make an art, they could do a course. Or if they wanted to just learn how to make hand-tied bouquets, they could do a course. But it was always our ambition and plan to do the commercial courses online, but they take hours and hours. We never had the time. Like we were always kind of very busy. So sitting at home on our fat arses, getting bigger and fatter with the banana bread, Deirdre said, let's go back to work. She says, the building was completely empty here. Like, you know, that way, all the shops were empty. Everything was closed. She lives in Walkinstown. We were probably just over the 5 kilometres away from each other.
5.2.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone.
She used to, when she was stopped by the guards coming down to Rialto, she used to say she was coming down to wash her mum.
Who lives in Rialto.
And with the 2 of us came back to work and we said, right, let's go and put module 1 online. Like we've always been, you know, it was always our plan. It was always our big ambition to do it. So now we have the time, because we said otherwise our business is going to go down the tube, you know the way.
Yeah.
So then you take over.
So I went on and I done a couple of courses on editing, on online training, on so sort of was Thinkific, like packing all these courses in. We knew how to teach it. Obviously, Janette had been teaching it for years. And she knew all the mistakes that people could make. So she knew how to correct things before people even made those mistakes. But it was more, how do we structure this? How are we going to get this across? And even me doing online courses, I was bored out of my bracket doing the online courses because they were so boring. The people that were delivering the courses for me to learn, and there was no interaction and there was no chasing up to see, have you done that? Is that finished? And I was like, oh, Jesus, I don't want our online course to be like this.
Because when we were classroom based, like the crack here in the school was 90. Like, you know what I mean? They'd all arrive on a Monday morning, all shy and quiet. And again, the end of the modules, we knew every bit of scandal, every bit of news, who was having an affair, who separated, divorced. Like, they knew everything about us. Like, you know what I mean? We knew everything about the students. And we, like, over the years, we had made such good friends. Like, we're still friends with students who came to us years and years ago, you know, that way. And like I said, I want the online course to be still the same bit of crack, you know, that way. I don't want it to be boring like other people's online courses, not necessarily in floristry, you know what I mean? But you know, these online courses, and you're basically just left to your own device. And if you drop out, nobody gives a shite because they've taken the money off you anyway, and there's no follow-up. So we decided that when we were doing the online program, that we were going to set up a Bloom room, which is going to be our virtual interactive classroom, not necessarily where the classes were being held, but it was kind of like where there was a little bit of
support group.
Yeah. So every morning at 9 o'clock, Monday to Friday, they didn't have to tune in, but I was there at 9 o'clock, and it was a little bit like, okay, Anne, how did you get on with your homework last night? You know, that way. So it was kind of a little bit of interaction with them. They, a bit like the StreamYard here, people could post their questions. I normally would do the talking. Deirdre would be watching all the questions and she'd be saying, hi, Noreen is saying hello, or Anne Mary is saying this. So like there was kind of great interaction. And then we'd say, right, at this stage, you should be up to here, or at this stage, or who's having a problem, or your flower delivery is coming on Friday and this is what's going to happen, or at this stage, you should be practicing making the bows. So originally we used to get the students to post their practice work and their homework in the Bloom room for correction. And then what we have, again, like with practice with experience, we've evolved. And then we've set up like a kind of a private WhatsApp, but on a one-to-one. So where the students, when they're practicing at home, so they had their little chats every morning in the bloom room, but then they would go off then and they would do their work. So they then had access to me like 9:30 till 3:30 every day through WhatsApp. So they would send me on the photograph. Now, hopefully nobody minds the bad language. And if I felt they needed a bollocking, they got a bollocking. Do you know that way? And if I felt the arrangement was right or needed to be corrected or was ready to move on, it was literally, and nobody else could hear this. And like, I use voice messages because I can talk quicker than I can type. So they, at the beginning, the students would text me and say, "Hi, Janette, this is my arrangement, blah, blah, blah." And then I would literally be, and then I'd say, "Right, now I need you to do such a thing." And there could be 10, 15 voice messages. They ended up voice messaging me back. And then I'd move on to the next student. Like my phone buzzes, like, 24/7. And then to facilitate the students that were working during the day, because again, the whole idea of the program was that you could still be working full time, minding your kids, minding your parents or whatever, but you could still do our course. So in the evening time, the students could still WhatsApp me. They may not get an answer. I still normally would check in and check out. Like we have a student at the moment from New Zealand, but we've had Canada, we've had America. So they'd be on different time zones. So again, like I could check in the evening time, correct their work, or sometimes early in the morning, I'm spoiled. My husband brings me up a cup of tea at 7 o'clock every morning in the bed and the phone. And then I'd be literally answering all the WhatsApps that was posted the night before. And I think that was the success story.
Yeah,
it was the one-to-one interaction. Even if they got a bollocking, they all came back. We have such a low dropout rate. And anybody that has dropped out was they either had COVID, something happened in the family, and then we facilitated them that they could join back up the next time the program came around.
That is incredible. And that is absolutely unique. I don't know of any other online course that actually offers that. Here's a question. Is it evergreen, guys, or do you start on a certain date and finish on within a certain time frame?
Yeah, no, it's a start. We've a start and finish. So they have 4 weeks.
You couldn't do that otherwise. Yeah.
So they have 4 weeks, we say, with full access to the Bloom Room and to Janette. And then, but they have then evergreen access to the program for another 3 months. So 2 months. Well, from each module is different. But their course or their program is actually 4 weeks. So they've a full 4 weeks, where when we ran the courses here in the school, there were 4 days. And people say to us, "Would you go back to classroom based?" And we were like, no, absolutely not. And it's not because online is easier, because for us, it's actually not.
We put more hours in now than we ever did.
We couldn't.
Listen, I know that. I mean, for anybody tuning in here now, we were late starting. They have no idea of the trauma that we went through for maybe 20 or 30 minutes before that. And I know the amount of prep that goes into preparing for online. And you guys are lucky because Deirdre, you're at the other end of the camera, and do you do all of the editing yourself? Everything?
Yeah,
she does.
And again, I suppose because we've been teaching for so long, we did years ago get a guy to do a particular course for us, a standalone course.
Yeah.
But I spent so much time saying, no, you need to zoom in there, and because I knew what the students needed to see. So by me editing it, I was able to edit it in a way that I knew they need to be able to see this. And you know what, like we learned, like at the beginning, when the very first module 1, I used to be, okay, stop there, zoom in, record, stop. And then I realized that the editing program I had, I could just record it and then zoom in as so I think each course got better. The module 4 course being the last, and the module 3, I think, was the last one. Is probably the best recorded course. Because I just got better recording it.
You're amazing. Do you know, for my courses, I actually record in one go. Nothing has ever been edited. I learned that from Joanne Sweeney. But it's tough. Oh God, it's all tough. There's a couple of lovely messages here. So Anne-Marie Drury, who, as I say, is one of your ladies. Good morning from Kildare, ladies. Love the course. Just finished module 1.
Hi, Anne-Marie.
Marie Riley. Good morning.
Joanne who did I see that was on there? Alison Kearns. Remember Alison?
Oh, Alison, yeah.
Alison trained with us many years ago.
See, they never forget. You know what?
No.
Somebody said to me, you probably know Anna De Marini from social media, but Anna said to me once, your vibe attracts your tribe. And I thought that is so true. So without a doubt, you girls, your vibe most certainly attracts your tribe. Huge tribe. Joanna says she's just finished Module K, and you said she's in the UK. Anne Healy, that's Anne from Biddy's Good Luck Courses, says you're amazing, girls. Absolutely amazing. Josephine is up in Donegal and she's watching. Joanne's
And I see
loving your
Kathy is up
WhatsApp.
in Donegal as well. And she's actually one of our girls as well, is up in Donegal. Kathy Gavigan, I think she is.
Yeah, she's calling herself Caitlin Galligan here. Morning, ladies. Oh my God, your husbands think you've moved in with us. It's a bit like when I work with clients. I say there will be 3 of us in this relationship for a while.
Exactly.
Yes.
And like I find, like some of the students say that where they watch the tutorials when they're in bed at night time, you know. And obviously I have a very strong Dublin accent, and like there's people from all over Ireland and obviously
All over the world. All over the world.
I have certain sayings, like I'm always talking about the cop-on spots, you know what I mean? So suddenly the students are saying the cop-on spots, the cop-on spots.
In a Dublin accent.
In a Dublin accent, you know. Their kids are kind of like, we've had a girl recently, Amy was her name, and she was pregnant on the first module, and she used to say when she was watching the classes, the baby recognized my voice, and then on her next module, the baby was born, and she's a photograph. We actually posted photographs on Instagram last night of this 4-pound tiny baby holding her mum's certificate, and the baby now is,
she must be 8 months old,
8 or 9 months now, and she had a photograph yesterday. She's now become a model, actually.
The baby,
the baby has now become a model, and she's well, you know, for Case Flare School, she's modeling all the little flare crowns and all. You know what I mean? Like, it's just gas, like, you know. Our big thing probably is we have to organize a get together.
Yes.
And it's something we always talked about, because people say, oh God, like I'd love to meet you girls and say a bit of crack. And I think at this stage, we're probably going to have to book the RDS or City West Convention Centre. So our big thing is we are going to organise a get together for all our students. You know, that way they're flying home from Scotland. And one of the foliage suppliers, we interviewed him about 2 or 3 weeks ago from County Kerry, and we were slagging him saying, what's the chances of us all kind of going down to Kerry? So he said, well, in September he was going to have an open day. So suddenly now we nearly have the bus organised, people are flying home, anybody can come, you know, that way, and we're all going to go to Kerry. And it's not official yet, but we're all going to book in and we're going to have a night out, and obviously visit the Irish Green guys in Kerry as well.
Well, no better 2 women to organise. Excuse me, Liz O'Connor's saying, morning, lovely to hear your history and success story. And I just love how it's evolved to suit. It's evolved, but it's better now because this is what we all need now.
But you know, Anne, as well, and I suppose it's like, you know, any classroom, most classroom-based courses, and I see Anne Mary saying that she'd love the classroom-based, but when you came here to the school to do a classroom-based, you saw Janette make an arrangement, you made it once, you were corrected as you were making it, and that was it, and you went home. And if you had thought of something at night time, hard luck. You couldn't ring me and you couldn't WhatsApp me. You know what I mean? So say Anne Mary there, where I know on WhatsApp, me and her have been having conversations back and forward. You couldn't do that. You didn't know my phone number. No. I kept everything private. When you went home at 3:30 from the classroom, that was it. The school was closed. And at the weekend and in the future, when you had weddings, you didn't have any of that backup or support, you know, that way. Where now, like I had a girl, like Mary Hines was on to me there this morning, who has completed all her training, but a wedding inquiry has come in for an archway in a couple of months. She had a few questions about it. Again, 2 seconds, a WhatsApp to me, 2 seconds, I'm able to answer her back, and that's her problem sorted. They didn't have that when it was a classroom-based course. And the other thing was, when you were on the classroom-based course, you seen it once. Now they can rewind it, they can fast forward it, they can put it on slow, they can stop it, they can write their notes. They can shut her up.
They can shut me up. They can put me on mute. Again, with the classroom, you got one chance to take your notes while I was demonstrating it, and I speak quite fast. And if you missed it, you missed it. You know what I mean? You got one chance to make the arrangement, where now they're able to have a few goes at making the arrangement. And even when the course is finished, they can still make up stuff. They can still WhatsApp it on. Like we have this motto, once a student of K's, always a student of K's. And we do have a great relationship with our students, you know, that way. Yeah. Even poor Joanne, who did get a bollocking off me one day, but I had mixed her up with another student. But I apologised. I came on to her there the other day and I said, it's actually late at night, Joanne, but I have actually worked out who I've mixed you up with, and you didn't deserve that bollocking. That belonged to somebody else. But I do, and I know Joanne didn't take any offence. Well, she didn't say it to me anyway, but we'd have a great relationship.
She said that it's official. She's told her husband that she's going to Kerry.
Brilliant. But you know genius and gem and magic. Not only are you teaching these guys, you've created a community, because in that bloom room, you're going to have people who are shy, more shy than others. They're not like Janette, who will ask the questions. So somebody like Janette will ask the questions and get the answers, and everybody's learning, and they're learning from each other. And that is just absolutely.
The other thing is, like, we encourage them the first, it's actually the first Friday of the course. We have what we call the introduction day, right? And again, people can interact. So if you're happy enough to sit on the fence, not like a stalker, I don't mean like that, but if you're happy to sit on the fence and watch what's going on, that's fine. Nobody pushes you. But we do encourage on Friday, okay, introduce yourself. And people will either post a photograph. Now, again, at the beginning, they post a photograph of them at a wedding 20 years ago, done up to the nines, makeup, hair, dressed gorgeous. And it's gas as they come on, like they're in their pajamas. And, you know, I mean, things kind of relax a little bit. But they'll tell you a little bit, like say, okay, I'm married to such a person. I have kids, I have a donkey, I have a dog, I live in such a place. And we encourage saying, right, chances are you will meet somebody from the same area as you. You know, that way, maybe there could be two people in the UK that are quite close together. And we call it the flowery friends. So you make a flowery friend, a flowery buddy. So then when you go to buy from the wholesalers, because you know what wholesalers, there's minimum amounts and minimums you have to spend. I say, right, now you have a flowery buddy. So the two of you can go together, buy in your stuff wholesale, avail of the cheaper prices, buy the minimum amount, and then divide it among us. And then the other thing we encourage is, especially with the wedding work, is they help each other. Like we've had people who've come, like we've actually a girl in Donegal.
Yeah. Burnfoot.
Yeah,
right.
Which is, I think, the very, very top. Maureen is her name. And she's went to Derry to help students. She's went to Tipperary to help out at weddings that they had, so she could build up her experience. But vice versa, the Tipperary one has went to Donegal when Maureen has weddings. Like the distance, you know what I mean? Because it's just, so again, they probably are only meeting up for the first time, but they feel that they know each other because they're in the bloom rooms together. But another thing that we have is, so there's 4 programs altogether. So when they've completed their 4 programs, and this was only something we started about a year and a half ago, they progress into the Bloom Studio. So it's kind of like the next room up. Now, this is free, and it's for all the past students who have completely finished their training. So again, as I say, once a student decays, always a student decays. So again, they still have that free mentoring, but actually the mentoring is more among themselves, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they all help. Somebody puts up a question in the Bloom Studio. Hi, I've the price for a wedding. What's the chances of availability of white roses during such a month, whatever? And all the other students are all given their little bit. I'm there on the sideline. If I need to drop in, I can drop in. If they need help from me, I'm there. And then anything new, because again, what happened was, you do the course, and when it was classroom based, I was restricted. I basically had till 3:30 every day, and that was it. But then when online, like in the bloom rooms, they'd be asking a question maybe about, like somebody asked me this morning about EORI numbers. So when you're importing from the UK, it's a number that you need. So I was able to give all that information out. I had the time. I then will do a little video. I'll add it to the online program, because I know that's something another customer, another student is going to ask me that about next month. So we kept adding to the program, because we were able to, it didn't matter how long the program was, you know, that way we can keep adding all these extra classes. So that the past students didn't lose out and saying, oh God, like when I did module 1, we didn't learn about EORI numbers. I say, well, when they're in the Bloom Studio, they then have access to all the tutorials again, and they can watch them, whether it be as a revision, a refreshment, or again, they're gaining all the new things that we've added to the course. So another motto we have is, we're the school that keeps on giving. We don't stop.
You're like the Duracell bunnies, honest to God. The energy between the two of you is amazing. Loads of lovely comment coming here. I think this is Nuala said, just what I need on this very snowy morning in Sligo. It's actually very snowy.
Well, see, look, the snow behind us.
Yes,
Dublin is like...
We were skiing this morning.
Is that real snow behind you? No, I didn't think so. Jeepers, come on, girl. I nearly believed you. Okay, lots of people here. Lots of people tuning in. Okay. This is Anne Mary. The online course is fab, but she's the one who says she's so love face-to-face. You talked about that. Somebody else is finishing. Geraldine finished module 1 straight into module 2, loving it. You're way ahead of me. You can see all of these messages long before I did.
We can. Ros Meekin, she's not one of our students.
No, Ros is one of mine. She's one of my super duper students. And I can't believe she's actually moving house at the minute and building a new house. So I'm surprised she's here.
Oh,
she probably needed this time for a laugh. Usual tech issues here. Brilliant to hear the lady's story. Love it.
We need Anne for you to tell, because when I was telling my students about coming on live here this morning, and I was saying to them I didn't want to come over and join, like I actually wouldn't have known a lot about your business, and I was saying it was interior design. So maybe for the benefit of my students that are joining here, give us a little bit of info about you.
Oh gosh, well, God, you're very kind. Well, listen,
No, seriously.
Trained as a nurse, and long convoluted story into interior design, which involved taking part in Shane Filan's RTE show, which I won. And that was my first client, first everything. So I was catapulted into interior design, and everything was fantastic. And I specialized mostly in new builds, really, and extensions and renovations. And then COVID happened. And just like you guys, I sat down and I cried one Friday because my phone rang all day and it was postpone. And then it was cancel. And I was devastated, really. And then I thought, you know what, cop yourself on, Anne. You're not the only person in this situation. So I said, right, that was a Friday. On Sunday evening, I went out on Facebook and I said, from now until COVID is over, I will do a Facebook Live every single day at 3 o'clock. I will teach everything and share everything that I know about interior design, so that during COVID, you can improve your home, you can improve your knowledge, you can distract yourself. And just like you guys, this incredible community just happened, you know. I had nurses ringing or sending me messages saying, I binge watch at night, this keeps me going. Other people saying, 3 o'clock is the only time that I have human interaction in the day. I live on my own, I love it. And it's just evolved. So yes, I did decide, not as quickly as you, but I did decide to do an interior design online course, because I always had the in-person events where I go to Dublin or Cork or wherever. And I don't think I'll ever do that again, to be honest. So I set up a Sharing the Secrets interior design course where I teach my people how to become their own interior designer, because not everybody wants to hire somebody. They would actually love to be able to do it for themselves. So I have literally shared absolutely everything that I've learned over the years. But I'll tell you, there's things about your module that I think I'll be applying to mine now, because it's amazing. I would never have thought of the WhatsApp group or things like that.
But Anne, isn't it amazing? And this is something we have learned in COVID. And do you know what? I've actually taken it into my real life, my own life as well, not just work life. The more you give out, the more you get back. The more you give away to people, the more you get back.
But Deirdre, it is amazing. And at the very beginning, I was interviewed, Claire Rowland interviewed me, and she said to me, you have been critiqued for giving away too much. I've never forgotten that. Didn't care. I did not care. Good. Tell me.
Yeah, no, we would have had, like initially, like it was all great. And then it started to, like, we were getting the feedback, oh, you're giving away too much. And we're like, we're giving away, but we're not giving away. Like, we're giving away, you know, how to make door wreaths, but that's all over YouTube anyway. Like, we were getting the amount of messages and emails like yourself we were getting from family members, more so than even the person watching it, but from family members saying, oh my God, what you have done for my mom in COVID. And all she talks about is Janette on the lives and talk about the shite weather, because that's the, you know.
You always have the weather forecast at the beginning. You know, how shite it is around Ireland. You know, it can be really shite, or it can be just, you know, my shite.
But and it was just, the more we gave, the more, and it didn't affect our business. No. It actually grew our business even more. And sometimes, like even with flowers and our own and this is what we have created, a community of florists that are more giving florists, where the old school florist, I think, is very much, oh, don't tell them this, don't sell them this. So at the beginning, we were teaching them how to make door wreaths. And they wanted to go to, and we were saying, go to your local florist. You can buy the foliage, you can buy the rings, you can buy the wires, because we didn't sell anything like that. Mm-hmm. And the florist wouldn't sell it to them, because they were like, oh, well, like, no, they didn't want them making it. And we were like, fucking Egypt, sure. You can make the money on the contents of it without actually it. So because they couldn't get the stuff, and we were sending it all over Ireland, and the wreath rings and stuff like that, because the florist wouldn't sell it. And we were like, well, the florist, the old school florist, get up and sort of show people how to do things and sell them the stuff, because they wanted to do stuff at home. And talking of that, we actually have a special offer for anyone that's watching this, either live or on the replay. The offer is live until Monday, the 28th, the last day of February. We're actually giving away a wreath making course. So there's 6 door wreaths on it. So any of your viewers up until Monday the 28th, they can use the code Room Junkie. And maybe when this is over, I'll go in and put it in the comments, and they actually can get that course for free. It's worth €300. So anyone that's watching the door wreath making course, and maybe you can go to your local florist and buy the materials, or if
some of them might have copped on.
Some of them might have copped on, but if they haven't, you can go onto the website and you can buy the materials to make the door wreath if you want to. But there's spring, summer, there's lavender ones, there's a few loads of different ones on that course.
Girls, I am not often lost for words, but I'm actually gobsmacked. What an incredibly generous thing to offer your people and my people. Oh my goodness.
But sure, look, isn't it? It's the time to be giving. As we said, COVID actually was a huge benefit to our business, but there were so many businesses and that it wasn't a benefit to. And the flower industry probably wasn't really one of those businesses. But the hair industry, the makeup, the arts, so many industries suffered really badly. Cafes, pubs. Yeah. And we just sort of feel it's nice to give back when you can give back. So, and we can, so we do.
Oh my God. Listen, I'm going to have to go to comments because I'm genuinely, here's a lovely name, Blana Agus Brunton is Caroline. She's obviously in the Gaeltacht somewhere. She says, thank you, Anne.
I think she's in Galway.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's a lovely name. Fiona Shane, I'm delighted we got to find this page, Room Junkie. My kids will be curtailing my screen time between K's and Room Junkie. I'm tied to my phone. Thanks for all the information. That's lovely. Oh, Joanne's in Chesterfield. She said it's nice and sunny. Well, it's nice and snowy here. Roz, she said, I'd be a brilliant student. Yes, this is escapism. New house, I'm going to be more flower and plant focused inside and out to be self-sufficient. That's something actually, girls, that even in interior design, biophilic interior design is taking on in leaps and bounds. And we're becoming so mindful of joining and relating the outside to the inside, you know, with plants and flowers. But you know something, I've talked an awful lot about how your home, because in another life I trained as a nurse, and I'm a mum of 3 sons, but I've talked a lot about how your home can actually affect and impact and improve your mental health. And one of the things that I talk about, as well as having the right color and, you know, all the rest, is the power of a bunch of flowers in your home. Yeah. Without a doubt in the world. And it doesn't have to be a €200 bouquet of flowers. You know, you can get something from the supermarket, and with your guidance. A bunch. You know what? I saw daffodils the other day. They always put me in good humor. Ours are actually beginning to pop up as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and you know, because we don't have flowers here in the school as much of when we had classroom-based courses, we'd always, and whatever was left over, we'd bring home with us. You know, and when I'm in Lidl and Aldi or whatever, I could be walking by a flower shop and I just say, I'll pick up a bunch of flowers. You know, there's nothing like a fresh bunch of flowers in the house. They really do. And plants as well, obviously.
I have to say, I kill plants, but I love my flowers. I would have flowers in every single room in the house. Tell me, any tips for people? Say you are on a budget, you're going into your Aldi or Lidl and you pick up a few bunches of flowers. What can you do with them to make it more special?
Well, sterilize the vase before, you know, so whatever container you're going to use, so treat them like your baby's bottles. You know,
never knew that.
Baby's bottles, yeah. So that's the most important. I always say, if you wouldn't drink out the vase, don't put your flowers into it, okay? So that's how clean. So put them through the dishwasher, do you know the way? But what I normally recommend is flowers actually love a small taint of bleach to be in the water that they're going to drink. So when you have your vase, like this is how they do it in a flower shop, is they empty out the dirty water, and there's nothing like smelly flower water. It's disgusting. It's like sewage, okay? So rinse it out. Fill the bucket or your vase, and this could be your glass container, anything that you're using at home. Fill it right up to the top. I do this at home. I fill it up in the sink, you know, right up to the top with water, and I put a good squeeze of domestic bleach into it. and I leave it for about 10 or 15 minutes. Now, you can leave it overnight. You could do it at night time, go to bed and get up the next morning, but a minimum of 10 to 15 minutes. And all you do then is empty it out, okay? Don't rinse it and don't dry it. And when you empty it out, you kind of get bubbles and suds, and immediately people are panicking and they want to rinse it and dry it. Don't, okay? Leave them little bubbles and suds in the end of the vase and refill it up straight away with clean water. And there'll still be a small amount of bubbles in the water, and there'll be a smell of bleach off the water. And the flowers absolutely love that, okay? So flowers love a taint of bleach in the water that they drink. And all these kind of old wives' tales that you hear of copper coins. Now, I know we don't have copper coins nowadays with euro coins, but if you think you're same age and like, remember the 2-penny pieces years ago? They were filthy, they were. But years ago, people used to say, throw copper coins into the water that the flowers are drinking. And obviously, you're putting all these germs and bacteria into the water. And other things people used to say was give them 7-Up, and 7-Up does work. So basically 7-Up, it's an acid and an alkaline. So you know when kids are sick, they say settle their stomachs, give them flat 7-Up, and there's a sugar in it to give them energy. So basically 7-Up is like a sterilizer, and it's a sugar boost, you know what I mean? And the flowers absolutely love that. People will say put sugar, a spoonful of sugar into the water, and that is fine. But if your bucket or your vase wasn't clean, it'll grow the bacteria. So the main thing is the vases to be, there's loads of other tips, but the main thing is the vases to be spotlessly clean. And if you couldn't drink out of it, don't put your flowers into it.
Well, that's a revelation for me. Do you snip the ends of the stems or not?
Yeah, snip on
okay.
a 45-degree angle, because when you cut straight across, you open up, say, a hole. But when you cut on an angle, you open up a much larger hole. The other thing is when you cut a flower, it immediately starts this process of sucking, you know, that way. Mm-hmm. So if you ever want a flower to open fast, you know, if you buy lilies this time of the year, like they're out season, so they take ages to open. So if you keep cutting them every 4 hours, so like a baby, feed it every 4 hours. So cut your lily every 4 hours, like cut like a centimetre off the end of it each time. 45-degree angle. It's like if I gave Deirdre a punch, okay, she'll go, oh! And that's what happens to the flower. When you cut it, it goes, and it sucks up, and it'll suck for 4 hours, and then it'll slow down. And if you cut it again in 4 hours time, it's like that punch, and it'll suck again like mad. And the more water you get up into the flower, the quicker it'll open. Now, when people buy flowers, Lidl and Aldi also, they'd often have like a little sachet of flower food. And the amount of people who roll that up in the wrapping and throw it in the bin, use the flower food, because the flower food is better than sugar. Do you remember I said sugar will feed the flowers, but it'll make bacteria grow, where the flower food actually keeps the water sterilized, stops the water going smelly, stops kind of that build-up of algae kind of on the inside, and also feeds the flowers. So helps your lilies to open quicker, and also they last longer. So it's like a preservative in the water as well. There's loads now. There's absolutely loads of tips.
We have actually on our YouTube channel. So if anybody is obviously not our student and is looking for flowery tips, or the blog on our website, we have loads of tips there for conditioning flowers, which that's what we call it conditioning a flower when we cut the ends of it. Or the other thing is, suppose the leaves below the waterline is making sure there's no leaves below the waterline. And that will go rotten.
Say this time of the year with daffodils, because a lot of people will be buying daffodils. So when you cut a daffodil, white milky sap comes out the end of it, which is a poison to another flower. The daffodils don't mind it. So if you buy yourself 2 or 3 bunches of daffodils, cut them, stick them into the water, absolutely hunky-dory. But if you put tulips or iris or lilies or any other flower into that same water, they're going to drink the poison from the daffodils, and your other flowers will die. So daffodils like to be kept on their own. And if you kind of like think in flower shops, you always see the daffodils on their own. Nice. And now, if you had to mix them, because sometimes people say, well, I want to mix them, we call it bleeding. So you let the daffodils bleed in a vase for an hour on their own, in their own poison water, and then lift them out, but don't cut them, because if you cut them, you'll start the bleeding again. So then take them out of the dirty, poisoned water, and then put them in the clean, bleached water with your other flowers, and then everything is hunky-dory. But if you cut them, you start the whole thing again.
That's incredible. My eye is just drawn to somebody here, Kay O'Sullivan. I wonder who that is. She's saying, good morning, enjoying the chat.
I think she's one of our students. We do have a Kay O'Sullivan. It's not related to us now. And
I thought maybe that was your mum.
Yeah,
no.
Okay,
O'Rourke. Sullivan is my marriage name, but O'Rourke would be our mum.
Yeah, our
Janette's
members.
here.
right, okay. I thought it was your mum. Roz is coming back with something here. She says,
She had to take a
so
call.
I had to take a call there. I'm really forward to bringing the outside in, lots of lavender and pink. Eileen is saying, bringing the outside in, flowers needed in the home to keep us grounded in nature, good for the spirit. It's good for more than the spirit. It's good for our mental health. It's good for the way we feel about ourselves. It just, listen, every time you get a random, the doorbell rings and it's a florist with flowers, what does that do? Actually, that's one thing. Lots of people who joined my Room Junkie lives, probably because the only thing that they could send me was flowers. And I had a big birthday in the middle of it. And I remember the florist ringing me because she knows me well. And she said, Anne, do you want me to bring all of these flowers today, or do you want me to bring them every couple of days? And my husband said, oh, tell her to bring them every couple of days. What did I say? I said, bring them all.
Bring it
I
all.
want them all. Absolutely.
And I think as well, and that's why probably the flower industry, like the retail industry, wasn't hugely affected by COVID, because the only thing people could do to try and cheer people up was to send flowers. So flowers, absolutely, and that, again, like we obviously over in Holland, like flower prices at the moment are gone through the roof for buying them in. Oh, my mum is actually watching there. Catherine O'Rourke now. That's my mum. Hey, here, enjoying listening to you, sitting in the sun. She's in Lanzarote at the moment.
Oh, lucky girl. She's over with your sister, is she?
No,
my mum.
She's over with my sister. Yeah, my sister is there as well. But so flower
Catherine,
prices.
what an amazing business you've created, and what an amazing business these two legends have, kept going. It's just the most amazing story. It really is.
It is, and it's, what, it's, we're still in awe. We still sort of say, God, imagine it worked, because it was a huge investment. It was a huge investment of time. It was a huge financial investment. It was a huge risk. We didn't know.
And then again, as Deirdre said at the beginning, I'm a devil for change, that way. And like in the past, when people used to say to me about online flower arranging classes, I used to say, no, you'll never. This was my attitude. You would never learn how to do it online. It has to be hands-on. So then I had to basically eat my own words, okay? And one thing, there was actually two arrangements I was terrified about. I said, how can I teach hand-tied bouquets online, because it's such a difficult thing to learn in the first place, and it even was it was one of the more difficult classes for me to teach as a classroom based. And we done the most amazing hand-tied, pat on the back, but seriously, the most amazing hand-tied course. We even done it left-handed for the lefties. So I'm so right-handed, but I actually did a course on how to do it left-handed, obviously how to do it right-handed, and the other really difficult, an all-wired wedding bouquet in what we call a teardrop shape. And I said, how are we going to teach that? And if you've seen, even there last week, we did module 3, and the amount of students who made that bouquet watching an online course sent me on the photographs. I post them up on the Facebook.
Here
and I said, oh my God, that is just brilliant. I wouldn't be able to get it as good as they did it. And then I'm kind of saying, God, that was my teaching. So that kind of really proved when I could teach them two things, like hand-tied bouquets and all-wired teardrops, as online, we knew it was successful. That way.
Yeah, we knew
Janette,
it worked.
When I met you 3 years ago up in Donegal, if I had said to you, you will be teaching all of this online, better than you're doing at the moment, you would not have believed me. No.
And she would have said to you, she would have argued with you and said, there's not a hope
why it wouldn't work.
It can be. And that sort of a thing that we're trying to get out there is because most people think, oh, you couldn't teach a practical subject online.
Yeah.
And so that's probably our biggest hurdle selling the courses, is trying to prove. But our students are amazing because they give amazing.
I read the comments.
Yeah.
You're a great trainer. It's so positive.
I see Maureen McLaughlin's just joined.
Maureen McLaughlin. We were talking about you
a
couple of minutes ago. That's Maureen McLaughlin from Word.
So I say, girls, I'm going to have to get you back, because I've realised if we don't end fairly soon and we can't broadcast this to Instagram. I've done that before with Chef Brian McDermott, because he loves to talk too, and we went way over the hour, and unfortunately we lost it. But listen, this has been one of my favourite Room Junkie show lives ever, I think, because it's just your whole personality, the truth of you just comes forward on the screen, and it's just so powerful and so amazing. And you've helped so many people. You've launched careers. You've helped people's self-esteem because they've discovered talents they didn't know they had. That's amazing.
My 10-year-old calls Janette Mammy's teacher. Christina has that up.
Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. Well, listen, tell the girls again the amazing and wonderful and generous gift that you've given them. And I will post that link here as well when we're finished. I'll put it up on
Absolutely.
Instagram
So
as well.
For anybody watching, be it on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we have our our door wreath making course,
which is spring, summer, autumn, winter.
And there's 6 different door wreaths that you can learn to make. You can learn to make it on different frames. It showed you lots of different techniques. It's worth €300. We're giving it away to anybody watching with Room Junkie. The code is Room Junkie, all small letters. So use Room Junkie at the checkout and you'll get that course for nothing up until Monday the 28th.
Well, Janette and Deirdre, I wish you, oh my God, although Deirdre did tell me something, have I time to say this at 2 minutes? I'd say 5.5 million people have been watching you guys. They're so modest. They're not telling you the numbers. This is the volume of people throughout the world. It's not just in Ireland and the UK and in Donegal and Cork. It's all over the world. And ladies, you absolutely deserve this. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for taking time out.
Thanks for
having us.
It's been amazing.
Huge thanks everyone and all the lovely comments. Really appreciate it. Thanks a million.
Oh, you're so welcome. So to everybody, stay safe and stay fabulous. Tomorrow I will be back with a live Q&A. So if there's anything you want to know about your house, I'll be there, and that's what we'll be talking about in the snow probably. So over and out, and thank you so much from Caves Flower School.
Bye. See you everyone. Thanks a million.